Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Kia ora everybody, my name is Mutakarangi Timoti Pahi, and I'll be sharing with you some knowledge from Whare Ahuru Rongomamau, or the traditional Whare Wānanga for Rongomamau. If there's one skill or resource that you can have with you that I would say is vital, it's the understanding of the importance and the practice of breathing. It's something that we have limited amount of. No matter how much money you have, you can't buy more. Yet we need to be aware in our attentiveness of how important it is. Now, if we look in the Māori dictionary for the word breath, we would find ha, and it's half right. Ha is the exhalation, but there's another whole pre-breath to that breath, and that's the he, the inhalation, the inspiration, the rising up. That is the feminine, implosive breath, and that links you to all source, or as we would call uenuku. In the old days was the way that they used to describe the word io, because it wasn't used every day in everyday language. So when you said uenuku, you meant that. So when you were talking about your connection to uenuku in the universe, it comes through your he. Your he is your assertion, your agreement to stay here on this planet. All you need to do is not he, and you will not breathe, you will not live. So it's your assertion, it's your continuous connection to this world that you're on. So the he is the feminine. We see the word he, ne meaning your DNA. So it's the inspiration DNA. Ta meaning to create, like ta muko. Ta is the creative DNA, ta ne. But if you put ta and he together, you get tahi, which is unity. So you have the three triangles, you have the tani and the wahine. The middle is the tāngainga, is the balance. So if you breathe in too much and out a little, it's not balanced, same vice versa. You have to have balance in your breathing and understanding that every breath you breathe in, it's limitless what you can do with it. And it also tells you where the direction of power comes from when you're breathing in. It comes from you. If you're ever in turmoil or there are things around you, do this. Be aware of your nostrils as you breathe in. And you immediately alter the universe because you're pulling back all your power and you're saying, I'm the one that's creating everything past this. This is in my intention. My intention of attention is that I am going to create what I want. How many times do we just breathe in thinking any old thoughts? But we're breathing those thoughts into reality, whether we say them or do them or just think them. So we have a shield around us called a ri, a force field, energy, and it's, when you see the colors in it, it's called a tawhia, or your aura. This is affected by your breathing. The old ori or lullabies that the parents used to sing to the babies were in a specific beat to alter their breathing. Then if you think about in a haka, how fast and rapid that is, that alters your breathing for a completely different reason. So your breath allows you to do the expression of whatever you're doing in whatever context, whether it's battle, whether it's being able to connect into nature, because that connects us, our inward breath connects us to everything around us. That's the he, it's the rising up. We bring it into expression, which is the heart. That's what do you do with your breath. You have to have that balance. So the first way of looking at the breathing is why do we breathe in a certain way? So for he, breathing in through your nose, you only ever breathe in through your nose because that's pure, how it was told me. Whereas the waha cannot be pure. So you breathe it in also because it slows the air down and it keeps it at the right temperature so it can come in without you getting overwhelmed by air that you can do with you open your mouth. So when you breathe in, you raise. So you raise your heartbeat. When you breathe out, you lower your heartbeat. So there's one breath or breathing technique or hawkeye that's taught right at the beginning, and it's used to clear your body. That means is that if you imagine you've got this invisible force field, it's like a shape of the egg around you. Everywhere you go, sometimes it gets bigger, sometimes it gets smaller. And if you put negative things around it, they will stay around you, and then that will become your world that you see. But if you put positive things around it, that same thing happens. So therefore, when you breathe in, you should always be thinking in positive thoughts. You don't want to contaminate your thoughts with decay. And that comes down to how you breathe out. So one of the hara, for example, in the Iowamanga of Tainui was hapiru. So talking bad about people, because that contaminated your own tawhia. And that could cause you problems because you've just created that around you. So the importance of the breath is vital to understand that, and because it brings the power back. So the first breath we're going to learn is called the hi-hi-ha. And all it is 2 quick, short breaths in through your nose and 1 long one out of your mouth. Just close your eyes and start being aware of where you feel it. Do you feel a sense of a flow of energy in your body? That energy is called mataiha in the whare ahuru Rongomamau. And we have points on our body called haimata, pressure points, that allow it to flow, and if they get blocked, it could cause issues. So we breathe out like we're a flowing river. And in our imagination, as we breathe in, we're breathing in mist. And as we breathe out, we are like a river flowing. The river just lets go, just flows, doesn't think. Now imagine you are a mountain, and as you breathe in 2 short breaths, the mist rises up the front of your body, over the top of your head. As you breathe out, it turns into a waterfall in a wide area, flowing down your spine. Breathe in hene pukohurangi or mist. Breathe out in a wide area, or waterfall goddess. Take your mind there as surely and vividly as you can, because your brain doesn't know the difference. If you can imagine yourself a mountain with a mist climbing it and a waterfall coming down the back, as you let your body flow, you take your mind like it's flowing water. Water is just energy, and energy can change form. It can flow from water in a river to mist on a mountain. We will do the hi-hi-ha breathing again. Visualize any pukorangi coming up, any wairere coming down. There's a reason you don't like sometimes being around certain people, or you pick it up in your re. You're in a situation where you've been in conflict, or you just don't feel right, or you can take yourself away, do this breath, do this visualization, and immediately you center yourself, because you're telling yourself you are the creator of every second that happens from now on. The ha that comes out of my breath expresses my connection to the source. You hear your true oro oro again. Your oro oro is your natural frequency. It can be affected by people that surround you, environments, but resetting it by breathing, going into nature, they reset your oro oro. You don't ever have to get it high or anything low or anything. It's perfect when it's reset naturally. The only thing you have to do is remove the distortion from you. If you are in a place or an environment or a situation where it doesn't feel good for you, then that is you telling you need to clear yourself. You need a break. This is what you do. This simple practice. I do this many times a day whenever I need it. it can take a couple of seconds. It's why Indigenous people all around the world talk about very similar things, about the breath of nature and about that cycle of flow of energy and about harmonic balance. And these techniques of Rongomamau is purely about how we find balance, harmonic balance in our life. Internally, that meaning dealing with all the stuff that's happened with you and accepting it, loving it, accepting every part of you, understanding that you can't have light without shadow, dealing with all that stuff and outside of you. And understanding that we are the ones that are creating our experience. You can have two people have the exact same day and everything that happened, but one sees it in a totally amazing way, one sees it in a negative way. So we have to come back to the he, the thought that we have that comes from the light as we prepare to use whatever energy we gained. So as we're breathing in, it becomes almost like a prayer. This is what I want. This is how I will achieve it. And if you have that, things don't matter as much. If you are driving and someone pulls out in front of you and you're immediately about to go into a hard pedal where you curse them or yell at them or say mean things to them, you stop and do the he-he-ha. All you care about is you. It's the same thing as when you say bad things about people. They can't hear it, but your tawhia, your aura, your field of energy hears it and holds it. And then people wonder why they're unlucky or these things always happen to them because they're feeding it. So what we do is immediately clear that. That breath alone will clear it. And it's an incredible thing when you're in a very stressful situation, be able to have a skill to be able to do that. So I'm very honoured to be able to pass this on to you as a taonga, and the more energy you put into it, the more of a skill this will be that you can use. And I take this with aroha. So ka mihi atu ki a tātou i roto i tēnei āhua tanga wa te whare āhuru Rongomamau. Kia ora tātou.